Alright guys, on today's episode of Homeless on Purpose, I'm diving deeper into my experience. You're going to hear a lot about what wasn't shown, and I'm going to explain two really weird experiences that happened. Without further ado, cue the intro. So this right here, this spot here, is exactly where I slept for the majority of my nights when I was homeless. So this spot right here where I slept was really quite a good idea. It was completely covered. It was in a better area of town where no one bothered me, and I was able to really have a good sleep for the majority of the time that I was here. So we're going to talk about three main things here, mainly why I did it. So we'll go into that first with why I did this. I really went into this with just wanting to humble myself. I wanted to gain some discipline and put myself in the situation, right? I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew it was going to be very tough, and that's exactly why I did it. I had been doing a lot of stupid stuff, as you see in the first video there, is me talking about driving, the way that I was driving. So I really was looking for ways to get myself back disciplined, doing the things that I want to be doing, and progressing at the rate that I want to be progressing at. It was super hard to film because I only had my smartphone, which was hidden or off most of the time. So there were a few instances like where I wish I would have had my camera. Like this one time, it was about, it was quite early in the morning, and I went to Tim Hortons only to have this homeless guy like flicking me in the forehead consistently over and over, trying to like egg me on to get me to fight him, which I didn't want to do. I just cooled myself. I ended up leaving after about 10 minutes, but it was very interesting because a lot of the people that are in the situation that are homeless, they're totally okay with it, and that's where it gets difficult to try and help people, you know what I mean? Because they just completely accepted the fact that change can't happen, and that's a tricky spot to be in, you know what I mean? If I would have thought that way when I was an alcoholic, I would have never quit, because it was like that was part of my identity, and when it's part of your identity, it makes it very hard to change. And then number two was just to get a real understanding of what this was like for people, you know what I mean? And I didn't even get that good of a perspective shift when it came to that, because I'm in this situation, but a lot of people in this situation, it's a lot more real, and it's a lot more difficult if you're like, let's say, addicted to drugs. But overall, it's given me a really, really deep understanding of how people like this in this situation feel, ways they can get out of it. I mean, there's a lot of great people that are willing to help a lot of the times. One time I just went to a restaurant and I asked if they had any old food, and that one simple thing gave me an evening of like pure joy and love, because we had a good conversation. She gave me a full meal free of charge. It was those moments that really defined it for me and made it worth going through with it. And then the other experience that really humbled me and I wanted to speak about, a guy named Dylan, that I was sleeping right over there where I put the camera before, chatting a little bit. I was in my sleeping bag. I was like, ready to go to bed. And he just stayed there. He stayed up in the corner. I thought it was a little bit weird. And then I realized why he had done it, because the next morning I woke up and I looked beside me and I was like, what is that? It was this giant jacket that he had left right beside me. That was on the coldest night that I was actually here, and it was really super helpful in the morning to wake up and be able to put this giant jacket on. I definitely thank Dylan a lot for that. And it's small stuff like this that you can do. You got an old jacket, it's a lot more memorable to go and give it to a homeless person than to just drop it off at somewhere like the Salvation Army. Alright guys, that's going to be everything for today's episode. I'm going to have another episode, and it'll be the final episode, where I go and I give back stuff to homeless people, where I go and give back to the people that gave to me in these situations. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. There's been like a huge flux in people subscribing lately, and I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and I'm going to continue to make cool videos on here, challenging myself, challenging others to get out there and do really, really fun stuff. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, bunny. Have a good day. Thanks for being in the film.